I have had this question come up a few times in sessions, client sessions this week and last, so I'll just address it because it might help somebody who is experienced a toxic relationship, or is in one, or is wanting to go back to one, as often happens, and none of it makes sense. So the question is, why do I go back to the narcissist? Why do I feel like I want to reach out to them? And I'll explain a little bit the power dynamic between the two, so it helps you understand how that happens and why, despite all logical common sense, you do still feel this urge to go back into a situation where you know that you were abused. And another criticism that the narcissist often levies at its victims is, am I a narcissist? You're the narcissist, not me. And then you will have displayed some, especially when you've been in the trauma response, the freeze, fight, flight, or fawn, you will have displayed some of those traits in a way. You know, if you're in the fight response, you will have aggressively fought back, you know, could have run away, whatever it is. There will be examples of when you have been manipulative or displayed characteristics that could be described as narcissistic. But the fact that you asked the question tells me that you're not a narcissist. So why were you attracted to a narcissist in the first place is probably something that is on a lot of people's minds. And the power dynamic of this relationship and how it starts and why you'll continue to be attracted to a narcissist is that you very likely both had childhood traumas. And I've explained in previous videos that childhood traumas can be given the silent treatment. You don't have to have been really heavily abused, but if you have been, or they have been, a narcissist basically has had some trauma, something in the childhood connected to their mother or father or the caregivers, that has made them feel so wounded and hurt or disappointed or betrayed that they disconnect completely from their emotions. It's not safe for them to feel emotions. So they're up here and they're quite empowered, and they have sort of shut themselves off so they don't have to experience that again. And the victim has also had childhood trauma and been wounded, but instead of shutting off their emotions, they're sort of dealing with them, this, you know, love wins all, going to conquer, going to heal, you know, anything, I'm fine. You're still connected to your emotions. So on that level, you really resonate. You feel comfortable, you feel familiar. So when you're in the company of a narcissist, whilst they're cold and don't have any compassion and all these things that don't make sense to you because you're feeling so deeply, they are actually resonant. They do feel familiar. They are a match because you've actually, the wounds are similar. And then you will have experienced, because they're classed as empowered, so they're empowered, and you're in the narcissistic relationship, they're the empowered one and you're the disempowered one, unfortunately, if you're the victim. And they don't feel, but they still need to have emotional energy. So what they do is suck it all from you. So even if they're causing an argument or hurting you, or it's negative energy, that the emotional energy, they'll be up here doing whatever it is so that they get their emotions, because they need them to live and survive and feel alive as well. And they will suck it all up from you, and you'll just be left like a bag of bones on the floor, almost, with everything sucked away from you. The flesh, they'd have the flesh off your bones if it made them feel okay, and they wouldn't really have remorse for what they've done, how they've treated you, or the fact that you can't function. They will just discard you and either pick you back up and hoover you back in when it suits them and they need another supply, or they will move on to another supply. So that might help you understand the dynamic of why you feel familiar with and why you're attracted to a narcissist. And then the second element to it is, when you have had glimpses of, because they're not all bad, you know, narcissists, especially malignant ones, can be quite charismatic. Well, they are charismatic. A vulnerable narcissist can show fake emotion and mirror yours and make you feel, oh, they're vulnerable too, we can heal together, we're going to be wonderful. And it is a bit like being lured into the lion's den, unfortunately, on false pretenses. And the malignant narcissist is very charismatic, very powerful, very their arrogance, you know, everything is actually almost esteemed in our society. And when you've been with them, when they're hoovering and love bombing and being this, they'll actually be this wonderful person. You've probably had really nice experiences with them and incredible meals out, whatever it is that, you know, you've experienced. And part of you, and that alongside with the fact that they feel familiar energetically to you, it's like, this is it. When you've had an amazing time with a narcissistic personality, you will want to recapture that time again. And they sort of get you hooked in. They understand this because they just want your energy. So initially they'll have to give you lots of love, lots of attention, tell you amazing, probably put you up on a pedestal, make you feel really good, make you feel understood. And you will think at the beginning of a narcissistic relationship, wow, this is fantastic. And they usually go quite fast. It's usually a sign. A toxic relationship usually develops very, very fast, and you think, oh, this is the one. Not to say that can't happen normally, but it is a bit healthier to take your time and let things unfold. And I've lost my train of thought now because I ad-lib everything. So they have created almost an addictive cycle in you. So there's part of you that wants that feeling again, that to feel special, to feel wonderful, and they convince you that you've done something wrong, and you're not good enough and you need to change, and you start moderating yourself and trying to please them and do all these things, but you never really get back that lovely feeling. And you know, over time the mask slips, you start seeing them for the toxic person that they are, but you're still addicted to this feel-good feeling. So even if you break away from the relationship and you know that they're no good for you, there'll still be a little part of you that's like, I just want to text them. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're with someone else. I wonder if she's better than me or he's better than me. And that is the addictive cycle. So there's a few things that need to happen for you to heal from a narcissistic relationship. First, you need to address your childhood wounds, and you need to heal them, and that's doing inner child work, shadow work, and trauma healing. And secondly, when you start that process, you also need to break the habit of the addictive process, and you can do that with psychological reversal, pattern interrupters, you know, having an accountability buddy. There's several ways that you can do it. And then once you've sort of cleared the trauma and done your inner child work and your shadow work, and you've really come back to yourself and you feel really whole and complete and healed, because you do need to heal, and that process isn't instant when you've been in an abusive relationship. There's definitely a rebuilding process that is so worth doing, but it's not instant. There's an instant relief and there's an instant fix, and there's you know, sometimes just having the understanding and awareness of what's happening to you and why really helps, but the actual rebuilding of you can take it. So just have patience with yourself. Even if some of my clients go back and then they'll phone me and say, oh, you never guess what I've done, I did get in touch with him last night. And I say, it's okay, you know, sometimes this happens. Let's just see what drew you to get back in touch with them. How are you feeling about it? Do you feel okay? What do you want to do? How do you move forward? And then you sort of keep healing, and then you start creating and aligning yourself with the healthy relationship, so that when that shows up, you're a resonant match for that instead of the toxic relationship. So I hope that outlines the process a little bit, and I hope if you're recovering from a relationship or in one, and you don't understand why you keep going back, and that actually shines a little bit. I know it's condensed, but it shines a little bit of a light on it for you. Please do reach out to me. I'm good on Messenger. I'm good on, I'm best on WhatsApp, so it's 07803 548 931, and you know, just message, drop comments, ask me anything. I'm more than happy to help, and it's quite easy for me from the patterns that are showing up to identify where the wounds are and what the situation is and what's being played out. So don't struggle alone. Have a lovely day. Thank you for watching the video. Speak to you soon.